oh, it's a, don't you afraid sometime, if not every birth is successful. I'm like, so this is my mom, you see. Nothing.
No positives, all very negative.
Nothing satisfy her. Whatever you say, she has something negative to add, So that's my mom. So, but that doesn't change what I want. Another thing is dentist. I love to see a beautiful teeth. I'm such an OCD. So like you have beautiful teeth. So all right. Hello, everybody. This is our episode 3, and for this episode, we have prepared you quite a number of stories. So these stories are quite interesting. They comes in different chunk. So go and check them out. And some of them are interesting. Some of them are little. So go and check it out yourself, and we will see you. Hear your feedback. Hopefully, what you think about all this little story of mine. So let's see what we are going to have today. Shall we?
Yes,
really?
yes.
You get to ask me, questions about my childhood.
Okay, I'm ready. Oh, this is so interesting. Okay. Wait, before we start, I want to ask you, where was your home? Where is your hometown? Like, where did you grow up?
I grew up. Okay, this is a very interesting question because I don't have one particular place that I grew up.
Okay.
Like, because of my father's job, I have to move around, like different places. I born in Asunta, PJ, but never lived in PJ at all because my mother's water broke when she came here. I decided to came out earlier than expected. Yeah, than expected. So I can't wait anymore. So I came out, and so she have to go to the nearest hospital, which is Asunta, PJ. So I born in Asunta, but never grew up there. So just, my mom just gave birth there and then went back to Jerantut. Jerantut is in Pahang. And at that time, and at that time, my father was working for the oil pump company. So Felda. So they live in plantation, you see. So in that plantation, they are mostly the locals. So there are a lot of Malays family, and it's like really kampung. A few Indian families that is like minorities, and I think our home, like we are the only Chinese family in that plantation, right? So that is how I grew up. I grew up in really secluded area, surrounded by basically plantation, right? And once in a while you have like wild animal visiting your place because it is so secluded. I remember when I was like probably 3, I think I was probably 3. There was this huge python that came to not inside the house, but behind the house, because my father actually built what do you call that, a chicken coop, the reban ayam. Reban ayam. So the reban, because my parents love chicken, my mom loved chicken. The hen lays eggs, you got free eggs, and then you got free chicken to eat. For them it's like, oh, this is sustainability. And then on the side they will scoop the chicken's poop and use it as fertilizer, for the plant, and the vegetable grows so fertile and big. You have big vegetables and all that.
Wow.
So I remember one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So for those who don't know what kampung means, kampung is a village, right? So that's what. Okay. Wow. This is a full-on kampung experience. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. And I remember that one incident. I don't know how many times, but I remember this one time. I was probably around 3. Yeah, I'm very sure I'm probably around 3 because that time I already have my sister. So I'm probably 4, like 3.5, 4, I think like that. And this python was so huge that he couldn't move because he ate a few chicken. He was like, uh, very full and cannot move and so satisfied. The python just sat there. And so we saw the python sitting just below the chicken coop, the raban ayam. And I remember they have to call some guard with a shotgun, and I don't know if they shoot the python or whatever. And then they took the python out of the raban. So yeah, that was my experience. It's very wild, and once in a while you have like what do you call that? Musang. Musang is what? Fox?
Yeah.
Is it a fox? Yeah. Fox coming again. They will kacau. They will disturb the chicken. Try to eat them.
Wow,
that's my life.
Amazing. Wait. So you mentioned that you're the only Chinese family, and there's some Malays and Chinese, right? So you grew up.
There's Malays and Indians family. So it's like majority are Malays. Yeah, majority are Malays, and then you have like small percentage, like 2 or 3 families of Indian, and then 1 Chinese.
This is so interesting because we have some parallels. My childhood is the same. So the sort of ratio of Malay and Indian is just like how you just said. So there's majority of Malay. So growing up, all of my friends were Malays. I was talking Malay until into my adulthood. The language, the sort of primary language in the house was not English or not Tamil, it was Malay.
Even at home?
At home. Yeah. This is a very weird thing because every time people come to my house and they look at me and my brothers and my mom and my dad, we are so fluent with Malay, we are so used to it. And people are like, what? So
right.
Was it like that for you? Do you speak a lot of?
Yes, actually in our family, like we speak a lot of Bahasa. And I remember having, like, I moved to the town years after, when I was 10 years old again. I moved to the nearby town. After having to live in Sabah. Sabah is Borneo, by the way. So Malaysia has the east and west Malaysia. So where we are right now is the east, and the west is actually Sabah and Sarawak. So that's the Borneo. Okay, so I was living in Lahadatu for like 5 years. For 5 years. So 5 years, okay, everyone speak. Even in Lahadatu, our Bahasa is very fluent, because my mom and my dad, actually when they dated, I think they speak Bahasa. Because even though both of them are Chinese, my father could only speak his mother tongue. And my mom can only speak Mandarin and her mother tongue. So the common language between them was nothing but Bahasa.
So your dad's mother tongue is what?
Was Hokkien.
Look at that.
Because my father's side is Peranakan, Nyonya, So they speak, they have a Nyonya bloodline. So, so their language was Bahasa. And then later on, my mom picked up Hokkien very quickly. So then they started to speak Hokkien. So can you see, even though they are Chinese, both of them, but they didn't speak Chinese initially. They speak Bahasa together.
Wait. So I want to ask you. So wait, this is so interesting. Because I see the same thing happened with me when I was growing up. So what happened is, because we are so surrounded by mostly Malays and have Malay friends and everything. Really, I identified as a Malay. I used to wear baju kurung. I used to wear baju kurung, go to school, and teachers would look at me and ask, "Mana tudung? Tudung? Kenapa tak pakai tudung?" And because I used to be a little bit more, few tones lighter than what I am right now. So,
right.
teachers used to look at me and ask me, kenapa tak pakai tudung? Because I talk like a Malay and I'm wearing baju kurung, so they
fluent.
they really thought I'm a Malay. And that, and also there's things like, we do a lot of Malay things like sitting down and eating, you know.
Yeah, and eating with hands.
Especially puasa time, buka puasa time. What do I say? Buka puasa in English would be
breaking fast. Yeah,
breaking fast
during the Ramadan.
Correct.
We break fast. Yep.
So I have a neighbor. They are both teachers. They are Malay family. We were so close with them. So when Ramadan comes, we would go to their house and we will do the entire and break fast. Baca doa, the doa, break fast. All of that. I memorized.
Start with kurma and water.
Yes.
This is how they do
everything. You know the doa. When I say doa, the Malay prayer. I memorized the Muslim prayer.
No way.
Doa makan. Doa. Doa. See, my brain. I only remember doa makan.
Right.
There's so many.
Then they'll do Al-Fatiha.
Yes. And then you know during Hari Raya, they will have the mosque will have the what is that thing? They'll keep repeating that. Aduh, it's my all-time
the azan.
It's not the azan.
During the azan.
During Ramadan month, especially like few days before Raya, they will play this. Oh God, I forgot the name. I remember it, but I forgot the name. But I wait for that. You know, that is my.
What is the prayer like?
It's a bit like a song, but it's a bit sad and alamak. Oh God, I need to Google the name.
It's very deep, yeah. Like I know what you mean when you say sad. It's like
wait. Oh dear. Oh, I forgot the name. Please, any Muslims that's watching, if you guys can remind us. I'm gonna Google it. But and we used to do this at school. At school, I used to
right. The perhentian pula. What do you call the gathering?
Perhimpunan.
Gathering in the school. Perhimpunan, yeah. Exactly. Perhimpunan. Yeah, and I remember I can almost how to say, like say it along, even though it will not be the same pronunciation. It's probably not the right kind of pronunciation, but I remember the whole line, because you keep listening. You know, every Monday is the Perhimpunan, and it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. It makes you feel very calm.
And I used to feel very. Yeah, it's like it's some sort of like I don't know. I felt very connected to that, and also like school performances. I used to take part in you know, all that what Zapin?
Zapin is something else, but okay. Those traditional Malay dances.
Yeah, all of that. Okay. I loved all of that. Loved all the costumes. So I was like super identified as a complete Malay. So
right.
And that's what happens.
Wow.
That's what happens, you know, if you are very close. And my mom and dad, I think they were very close with Malays. They speak fluent Malay, and the way they did everything was more like a Malay than like an Indian, my dad especially.
Wow.
So it's very interesting. And then
same, my father has like, my mom and dad, they're just so kawan with the Malays, you see, like, it's like they're just part of our family. We never feel like, I grew up never feel like I'm a Chinese.
Me too. I
No,
never felt
I
like
always
I'm
feel like
Indian.
I'm part of their
Yeah,
family. Yeah, I'm part of everyone,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
We all
Yeah.
eat like the same food, we wash hand the same way with the dulang and everything.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. Wow.
I was supposed to marry my neighbor's son who's a Malay.
Really? Like not supposed, like what?
like like
Like a
really?
childhood arrangement? Like
Yeah,
a childhood arrangement?
okay with it, it was like a thing, we were so close. So close. Wow, this is very, very
Hmm.
interesting. This is the Malaysian
Yeah, this is why.
culture.
Yeah, yeah. And I love it because honestly, if it's not because of this, I don't think I am who I am today.
Mm,
I'm very identified with Malaysian, really,
yeah.
because I love where I come from. I love how I grew up with, knowing everyone's culture. I remember so many times I will go to Malay's family and Indian's family, and I remember I have this one uncle, Indian uncle, where his wife will do all the curry for us. So while they are chit chatting, I will, because I was just a small little girl, I'll go to the kitchen
Mm,
and I will just sebo. That
mm,
means I'm just being busybody. I
mm.
look at the auntie and she have this giring, that what do you call that? It's a
Batu
pestle
giling.
mortar. Yeah,
Batu
it's a
giling,
pestle
right?
mortar, but
Mm.
the Indian pestle mortar, which you have this huge tablet and this rolling stone, you just tick 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 tick, and you roll all your spices there,
Mm.
instead of using blender. So I will look at it and I will help the auntie. She's like, okay, you want to be here? All right, you help me to peel this. So I will peel the shallot. I will peel the onions. I will peel, I was just basically helping her. So, and she's happy because she saw, oh, such a young girl who who is interested in watching me. So I better have
Mm,
her sit down. And in that
mm,
house, I don't see anyone. Like I don't see a daughter, I don't see a son. I guess their children has grown up and they're just old couple, you see. So when they looked at me, they're like, oh,
mm,
this is like she can be my granddaughter or something like that. So they treat
mm.
me with that kind of affection. So yes, I this is my upbringing. So I'm we as Malaysian, I'm not sure because most of you probably watching from outside the country. This is how multicultural we are as Malaysians.
Yeah,
It's really a melting pot, you
it
see.
is. It is.
Um, and I'm always very proud of this heritage. I remember this childhood because we stay in this community where there's a lot of Muslim, right, Malay
Mm,
families, and so during the evening prayer, okay, the Maghrib Solat
mm,
Maghrib. So that's a time where again the mosque will ding, you blast the prayer on loudspeaker and you will hear it. And the television will also show, that whole prayer.
I
So
remember.
I will
Yeah.
follow. I had this favorite kind of towel. I have this favorite, and I still remember the color. It's yellow in color, right? I still have that towel. Can you imagine? Like
Mm-hmm.
the last time I went back, I saw it in the cupboard. Oh my god! So that towel, I will lay down, and it looks like the prayer mat. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and because from the television, they're showing people bowing down to Makkah. They
Mm.
always show
Yeah.
Makkah and all that.
Mecca.
So I
Yeah.
will follow. I will follow. I'll bow down and I'll do, do this. And my mom is like, shh, hey, why are you doing this? Chick, 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 chick. I'm a child, I don't know. Because children, you follow, no? You see the television and you hear the sound and you follow. Yeah, this is the time to bow on the floor. So my mom got so scared. I was probably around 3.5, 4. Same time when I live in this the house which visited by the python and the fox. So I remember my mom's like, chick, chick, chick. I'm a child. And I looked at her, I'm like, huh? Is it not prayer time? Isn't
Mm,
why we should do this, right? You see the TV
mm,
show, so we should do this.
mm.
So I think as a Chinese mom, there is a phobia always that we're living so close to Malay. Will my children one day be a Muslim? You see?
Oh,
Yeah.
I can tell you for sure. My mom, not my dad. My dad was like, I don't care. But my mom, for sure, I think she had slightly a little fear in her where she thought for sure I'm gonna marry a Malay guy. Because I was always more interested. All my friends were Malay, all the school crushes were Malay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely sort of believed that I am a Malay, like
Right.
really
Right.
take on that identity. And only until
Mm-hmm.
maybe well into adulthood that I started to feel like, oh, wait, there are all these other parts in me. Um, so it's I think this is something that only is very unique to Malaysians. And even in Malaysia, we do have like Malays that maybe more to themselves, Chinese that's more to themselves, Indian more to
Mm,
themselves. And I feel like
mm.
whenever there's like some sort of tourism commercial, that's how they show it, right? Oh, look at Malay, look at Indian, look at Chinese. But you rarely get to see the fusion of it, like
Yeah, the
which I
blend.
think
Yes.
you and me really fits into that, because we really don't have that super Indian or super Chinese identity. We are like a
No.
confused, mixed of
Yeah.
everything.
I think we are the best. Sorry, it's a little bit, mm, self-flattering, but we should be the face of the commercial when it comes to Visit Malaysia
I know,
because it's a
and
blend.
whenever they have these commercials, the Indian will have the Indian accent and the Malay will have, and I'm like, no, that's not true at
No,
all.
no, not
We
at all.
have
No.
Indians here who speaks fluent Malay and Chinese who can speak fluent Tamil
Hey,
sometimes.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And
Yes. Yes.
Malays who can speak Tamil and can speak
And
Chinese.
Mandarin
And
and speak
yeah,
Cantonese.
sorry, it's
Oh
Mandarin is not
my.
Chinese. Yeah,
Yeah,
Mandarin.
yeah, yeah,
Oh God,
yeah.
it's
Amazing.
you have to be here to really understand what we are talking about. It's such a mixture. Beautiful.
Oh, so that has really, I would say, shaped who I am as a person.
Mm,
So until the age of like 3.5, 4, then we moved to the next city, like
mm,
the closest town, I should say, not city, but the closest town, and that is Jerantut, right?
mm,
And this is the place where the national park is one of the biggest national park in uh, uh, East Malaysia.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
East Malaysia, sorry, West Malaysia, where we are. Are we west or are we east? East Malaysia, sorry.
We,
Oh, I
as
got
in
confused.
right now, we are the West.
Mm-hmm,
We
mm-hmm.
are West.
Oh, we are West Malaysia. Oh
Yeah.
dear. Yeah, we are
East
on the
is
west.
Sabah Sarawak. Yeah.
Sabah Sarawak. Mm. So, and so I went. This is the town. Sorry, this is a town where you have to actually visit in order for you to go to the national park. Right. It's like a
Mm,
pit stop. It's like a pit stop.
right.
So I was there and like for maybe about a year, I'm not sure, maybe a month, not a month, like maybe a few months to a year. I was studying kindergarten. So yeah, definitely I was there for a year. I was
Mm,
definitely there for a year. And from here on, I was a sick child,
mm,
very sick. I think my mom had to worry about me all the time because I had this non-stop coughing
mm,
um, episodes of non-stop coughing, and my
mm,
body is so weak, very very weak. It's like just a little bit of I don't know. They say terkena angin. That means you catch cold.
mm,
That's it. I will get coughing. I will have wheezing, and I cough till I wheeze. and I will have flu, and it's like non-stop sick, non-stop this episode of me being sick. So much so that, she took me to like all the doctors, clinic, all kinds of antibiotic, and this still didn't work. And then one day, my mom took me to this place. And when I entered the place, I saw this a statue of Kuan Yin. So Kuan Yin is the female version of the Bodhisattva, right? That's her name, the mother of mercy, or the mother of the most compassionate one. So, and she's like, a Devi that is a feminine figure that is worshipped in the Buddhist, among the Buddhists, right? So I saw her statue, and she's looking so serene and all that. And there were lights at the back that is shining. It's almost like a LED light, but it's not. Those days, I guess it's LED. I'm not sure, but it's like, this mandala color, ding, 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 ding. It goes back, and for me as a child looking at that, it was like, whoa, this is like, hypnotizing, and I can't take my eyes off that light, because I've never seen such a thing in my house or anywhere close, So I will be looking at that, sitting down, and my mom will go to, to the lady, and she will be start chanting some mantra, right? Only much later I realized what she was doing, but at that time I don't know. So she was chanting, and me as a child, I was just mesmerizing with everything, because it is so not my environment at all. And then that lady gave my mom this piece of something like a form of powder, and she gave my mom the instruction and say, okay, just do this, put in water, and then give it to your child. So I drank that, and I got well. So, and my mom is not, she's converted. She converts to Catholic because my father is Catholic. And those days, if you want to get married, if your spouse, if it's not a Catholic, they have to convert. So my mom converted into Catholic, and she's like, now and she really takes on this Catholic identity, really, and she feels. I'm sorry to say, mommy, but she feels like it's some sort of elevation in status. Like, oh, now I'm a Christian. Those days I'm a, maybe a Buddhist or this and that. But now I'm a Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, so I'm so much better than all of you. She had this pride in her, just because of that.
The society had that, if you really look at it, not anymore, I think, but those days for sure, the Christianity always gets that higher sort of status symbol.
It's still,
so I'm not surprised.
I have to say, Millie, it is still very much. Yeah, it's still very much. It is still very much a status kind of a thing. Yeah. So my mom, I can only say about my mom. I can't comment about other people, but my mom, right? So she had that, and she feel very proud. But when the times when I was really sick, she was able to just like, okay, put her identity away and just do what is needed. And this person, much later I realized, right, she's a clairvoyant. She's a seer. Like, she knew what happened to the child when she's connected to the source. Like, she's channeling someone, like she's channeling a deity. And that deity allows her to gain the clarity and the information to know to find a solution. So she's a channeler, she's a clairvoyant, and there are many people like that in our society, in our country, like that. So my mom was able to put that away and say, we need help, let's go, because I've tried all the Western medicine, nothing happens. Right. And my child is the most important thing than my identity. So let me put that away and go and seek for help. So it was amazing to see that, that my mom was able to do that for me, for the children, and she became very slowly she became like a believer, because it happened, right? She witnessed it. So it happened to her, she witnessed it, and she's like, oh yeah, like never ever think that whatever people are people's spiritual journey or religion is something that you dismiss just because you don't believe it.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful to see that my mom was able to do this for me. So I was a very sick child, and oh dear, I was very weak, I have to say. My constitution when I was born, I was very weak, and I was very skinny. I remember until the age of 12, my mom have to, it's a full-time comment on her, like, what happened to your child? Yeah, by the way, Carol, because my mom name is Carol. What happened to your child? Like, do you feed her or not? Why is she so skinny? Why is she so skinny? Why is she not growing any meat? I've seen her like this. Is she okay? Like, is she sick? And my mom is like, you have no idea how active she is. She's like running here and there, such a naughty child. You have no idea. She's fine. It's like, really? But she's so skinny. Yeah. Until the age of 12, my mom had to get all this, like, sort of like people's concern, lecture, and suggestion, as to tell my mom what to do, what kind of things to cook so that to fatten me up. I was skinny as sticks, really. And I thought too I will be like that, the rest of my life, until I hit puberty. That is like 13, 14 years of age. So at the age of at the age of 13 plus, I got my period. I got my menses. It was considered quite late.
Yeah.
For most, because most of my girlfriends, they got it when they are 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
So I got it only in high school. So it's very funny, something that happens to me. Everything is just slow, very slow.
So you stayed in Pahang, right? You stayed, and then
and I was in Sabah.
Then you went to Sabah, right?
Like 5 years, and then back to Pahang again. Like there is something that is very funny, that I have to come back to the same place in Jerantut, right? So after having go to Sabah, which is a completely different environment altogether. There in Sabah, you have the Indonesians, the tator, they call it the orang tator. They are very their pigment it's dark, all right. They almost look like African, actually.
Oh wow!
Really, they're so beautiful. They look like African.
Oh wow!
And they call them tator. I don't know where they're from. I'm not sure which part of Indonesia, or maybe they're from Timor Leste. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It's an interesting thing, because we have a helper like that in our home, right? And for me, again, I never see, because they have such drastic feature. Their feature is like African. They look like African. Very beautiful. Okay, very beautiful feature. Big eyes and curly hairs and really nice, like shiny skin. Pigment, but shiny. I love them. And they're very, very kind, very gentle people. They're so gentle. Always willing to work hard, because all they want is just to make money and send money back home. And most of them, they are. I think they're illegal.
Oh.
Yeah. So, but because they're illegal, they're cheap. So people, make use of their labor for work and this and that. So I have helper like that when I grow up.
Okay, so you came back. So why did you go back to Pahang?
Oh, this is interesting. So this is a time where my parents, both of them, they go through their marriage crisis. So I remember I was probably about 5, again, 4 or 5, right? And I saw my mom crying, chopping the
onion,
onions, shallot, okay, onions and shallot. So I'm not sure if it's the onion that makes her cry or is it her emotion, at that time.
Right.
But she's still nursing my brother that time. It's me, my sister, and then my brother, right, Sebastian. So she's still nursing Sebastian, and I thought, okay, mommy is crying. So I asked mom, like, Mom, why are you crying? So then she said, well, your dad has another woman.
Oh.
I was like, oh?
Wait, I'm sorry.
Daddy has another woman?
She said this to you? Your mom said this to you? Oh. And how old were you at the time?
Maybe 5. Definitely not more than 6 because I'm in kindergarten at that time.
It's amazing that you remember, because
I have a very clear memory of my childhood. I can remember something until like somewhere like maybe I was like 1 year old plus, like 1 plus to 2. I remember.
What?
I still have. It's weird. It's weird.
Wow.
My sense of memory is, I don't know.
I think weird. My earliest childhood memory would be around 5. 5. But
see, I spoke to a lot of people. True. I speak to a lot of people and they say, I can't remember my child. I'm like, no, for me it's vivid. I remember in pictures.
Oh.
Events, pictures. Yeah. And I remember how small I was. Like I was looking at everything as something very huge. And I don't know why that memory just stays here.
Okay, so mommy said.
Crazy.
So mommy said, yes. Daddy has. So mommy has said someone else.
Daddy has someone else. So I was like, oh, I understood. I actually understood, but I don't think my parents or my mom at that time knew what I knew. Like I knew, like I understood what it actually means. So I saw her crying, and I remember she cries like she just hasa. When she cries, she's really crying her chest out, and I felt sympathy. I felt for her. But mommy, don't cry. I told her, mommy, don't cry. So and then ever since then, that's where everything goes a little haywire. So they start to have a lot of argument, and we moved to a different house at that time because when we just landed to Lahadatu in this place in Sabah, we couldn't find a house yet. So we were staying like tumpang. We were just staying in another person's place for a few months, I guess, a few weeks. And then we found an actual place. So when we moved to the actual place, very quickly things just escalate to like a lot of fights, So behind us, we don't know how much they argue or fight or have dispute, all this kind of thing, or even have discussion. But in front of us, what I saw was the real fights when they're like full on, when they cannot tolerate each other anymore. And this is usually in the middle of the night. Usually in the middle of the night. So what happened is that I would be sleeping in the middle of the night and we hear bing, 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 bing. So you hear something is being thrown downstairs. It's a double story, right? So my helper, I call her Kaka. Kaka is like Akka, that Akka. Yeah. The same. So my Kaka has woke up, and when I get out of that bed, and she's like she's saying, "Don't make noise. Come here, but don't make noise." So she's already up and watching the whole thing, and we're just like at the. So this is downstairs, like this is the stairs. No. Like this is the ground floor, and this is the stair up. And here there's like a bend before you go up, right? So we'll be sitting here, watching how they do this whole kung fu fight. They'll be throwing plates. They'll be throwing things at each other. They'll be cursing each other. Ooh. And I'll be crying, and my sister will be crying. And my Kaka is the one that is holding us, like she's the one who's there for us. Not my mom, not my dad, but my Kaka. And that's the time where it starts to, me as a child, I'm the eldest, right? I start to feel, why is this happening? You know, and you don't know yet what's going on in the adult world. You know, you don't know why they do that, but you start to feel like, this is not right. This is not a happy thing. Like, you just know this is not right at all. You know. And then when you go outside and when you visit another person's house, you can see the harmonious, right? And then you felt, oh, I don't have that. And that's where you start to know something deep inside that is so not right about your family.
Yeah.
And you saw, and then you see the children in that family, in that household, that they are in a certain way, they are loved by their mom. You can see the affection. You can see the affection from the parents to the child. And then because there is a comparison, right? So now you reflect and you like, did I get that? No. Did I get that hug? No. Did my mom say, good girl? No. Did my mom praise me that way? No. And you feel, oh God. That comparison allows you to make that distinction that what you lack.
Yeah.
So that was the time I start to feel that there is something that my family lacks. And therefore, there is something that I lacked. Maybe I'm not a good child. Maybe I'm not a good child. Therefore, I'm making my parents feel this way. Maybe I am, not good enough. Therefore, my mom has to, beat me up and scold me. Right? And then you get the confirmation, because at first you just doubt it. And then you get the confirmation very quickly that you're not good enough because your mom says so. Mom and dad say so. When they're angry, when they're angry and they blurted the word, you're a useless child.
Those kind of
never
things
good enough.
Stick with us for a lifetime, isn't it?
Look at that child. Look at somebody's so-and-so's daughter. Why don't you be like her?
Yeah.
Why can't you be like her? Why are you like this? Not a good child. You're never going to be good enough. So, and this is how I grew up. And because as the eldest, and I'm by nature, I'm very naughty. Very super naughty. I am super active. Though my constitution is, slightly weak, but as I grew up, I get a little better each year, just I don't know, some karmic thing has just a little got off of me. I become more and more stronger. So it's difficult because I understand now. It's difficult for my mom to handle me because you how to handle a daughter who likes to climb trees and go outside to the big drain and catches fish, who likes to go out and mix with the boys and not the girls, not doing girl stuff, For her, she's really panicking. And I'm so young. I'm like 7, 8, 9, and she's panicked that I am that way. So I don't blame her because I truly gave her a hard time. Every evening, my goal is to go to the padang, that means to the field. I just want to go out of my house because there's nothing inside the house anyway. And whatever I can play at home, I've done that. So it's like, oh, this is boring. I want to go out and explore, I want to go out and climb the trees, stuff like that. So I did give my mom a hard time, and she couldn't see who I am. In fact, I am actually quite a creative child. Creative means I'll come up, I'll conjure some kind of ideas, and then I will start to assemble things. I even experiment with food and stuff. But whenever my mom saw my experimentation, she would just say that I'm wasting resources. Instead of looking at it and say, wow, what is this? Like, so what is this? Like, what is the idea you're doing this? What's the message behind? uh, instead of that, she would just dismiss this whole thing is a rubbish. Number one. Number excuse me. Number two, I'm wasting the resources.
Yeah. I
So
think this
she
is
didn't know how to nurture her,
yeah.
how to nurture me.
This is quite a pattern with Asian parents, because the survival instinct is so much there. So they try to put a blindfold there and try to just really be focused on the survival mode. Yeah, it's quite a pattern.
Yeah. Or like, why do you do this? Why don't you just spend your entire focus on your studies? Why don't you read books?
Yeah. Did you do your homework yet? Did you
Yeah.
and typical Asian parents is like, oh, I got 95%. Oh, but you think now you're so smart? How if you're really smart, you should get 100. That was
How,
smart.
how come not 100?
How come not 100? It is never
Wow.
enough. And that was the dialogue in my house. I got 90.
Right.
Oh, not enough. It has to be 100. So forget about the creative drawing and running around. And no, whoa, my house was like a military. Wake up at this time. By this, everybody has to be studying from this time to this time, eat from this time to this time, go to bed. It was very like that. Yeah.
Right.
So
And that's my mom. That's my mom, right? My mom. But my dad, he's not like that at all. So can you see the difference in parenting ways? My dad is like so open-minded. He will bring me to the golf course, okay, to the driving range, and he would play his golf, and then he's like, okay, there you go, this is yours, so go and play. And he would not tell me what to do, and he's like, go and explore, like just play and learn by watching, right? And he will enroll me to take art, like drawing class, and enroll me to dancing class, enroll me to singing class, enroll me to all kinds of things, right? All kinds of things. So that's my dad. And my mom, so see, the household is controlled by my mom, because my mom is the one right at home. My dad is in the office, so he only comes back like in the evening about 5, 5:30, like that. And that's the time where I get to spend time with my father, to follow him to go jogging and stuff, or go to the driving range for golf. But with my mom, it's the daytime, the entire day, from of course school, and then come back, that's the time. And I always look forward to see my dad, always, because my dad is the cool dad, right? And so this is the the huge difference between them. And their conflict, their marriage conflict, has a huge impact on me, because it created a separateness inside me. It created a huge separateness, and I didn't know that until like much later. Much later means somewhere starting from the age of 10. That's where it really hit me. That's where it really, really hits me, because from Sabah, that's the time I moved back to, again, Jerantut, again to this place. So can you see there's some karmic thing about that place, that I have to be there for some reason? So when I moved back, it was again another culture shock. It was a culture shock, because people in Sabah and people in Jerantut have a total different lifestyle. People in Sabah, they are so open-minded. Like we have, like there's a pub that family goes to. Can you imagine a pub that family will go to? So my dad will bring all of us, my mom, my siblings, and we go to the pub and we go to sing karaoke. That's what the American will call it, right? So we will sing, and my father loves to sing. He's a good singer, right? And he would sing and he would drink at the same time. His stout or Carlsberg, and that's where he's such a cool father. He'll be like, "You want to try some?" I'm like, "Can I?" He's like, "Yeah, go ahead." And I'll be like, and he's like, good. Good that you know, good that you don't like it, he said. So he's a cool dad. He's a very cool dad. Now coming back to Pahang, that was the why. It's because my mom has requested my dad's superior to move from Sabah. She thought by doing that, she would save the marriage. She thought by doing that she would save the marriage, and so it was quite an ugly scene because my mom had to say so many things to my father's superior, and I don't think my dad was proud of it. Neither my father feels like it was necessary to expose some of the information, and I knew because I understand sometimes men suffer, but they suffer silently.
Yeah.
Because women, they are vocal. Women are quite vocal.
They get
yes,
to be
big mouth. Yep.
Yeah.
So this dynamic I understood even back then. Then so we moved, and my father has to work in Kuala Lumpur, and those days it takes about close to 4 hours to reach Pahang to see us. It was a 4 hours drive, and he would like work till like 6 p.m. and he would take he would just drive home just to meet us. So initially it happens like every once a week, and then it happens just twice every month, and then once a month, and then once every 2-3 months, and then like that. So I really miss my dad a lot. But why my dad refuses to come back, there's so many reasons. Partly is because my mom's my mom's can't handle it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of stress to my dad. So he thought I'll be just away from you, rather than listening to all the insults that you're going to give it to me, and I'm going to have a very hard time for myself. So, and that drive my mom mad. And so, because she didn't know how to handle her emotion, right? And plus, I am such a vocal, like I'm naughty. Okay, I'm naughty and also quite vocal. That means I will talk back. I don't agree. If I don't agree, I will talk back. And so, because she's bigger than me, and I'm so much smaller, she's like, she's not tall, but because I'm short, right? She will use her physical strength to shut me up, right? So because I'm the eldest child, and she had this thing that I'm going to beat you up so that you going to be an example for your brothers and sisters, that they are not going to speak like you, answer me this way. You're not going to talk back to me, neither you disrespect to me in this way. So you are going to be the example. And she comes out with her rotan. Rotan is actually, it's called rotan, right? Yeah, it's called rotan. Rattan, right? It's made of bamboo.
Yeah.
So I don't get just beating from just the sticks. I got beating from all kinds of things. Like, you just name it. I think I can surely say I've tasted that. So I became the tool, the object for her to release her anger. It's on me, and I talk back. The more she do that to me, the more I will talk back. And whatever I talk is truth, but she can't handle. She can't hear those sharp words because she's so much in denial in so many things, right?
Right.
And because I was a child, I had to tolerate all those beatings, right? And I told myself that one day, just wait for it. One day when I grow up, you're not ever going to do that to me ever again. And I'm going to make you feel so sorry for this. so sorry for this. So that's where I harbor hatred. I harbor a lot of resentment. I harbor a lot of anger. Lots of anger. And this anger starts from this childhood, from where she has started very being physical with me. And she started being physical with me at the age of maybe 6, 7. Yeah, it started then.
Wow.
Yeah, I still have the scar on my face, and it was her slapping on me just to shut me up.
Oh.
Yeah, she was. I don't know what happened. I don't think I was saying anything because I was just a child. Like, this was probably 6 years old, and I was probably asking something, and I probably just annoyed her, right? And she just couldn't take it because she had no patience, and she was still dealing with this whole crisis with my father, so she can't take my, so she just slapped me, and her fingers just, and it left a scar because that skin just came out. And when she saw it, she was not really like sorry. She was not sorry. She was like, oh, okay, yeah, there you go. You deserve that.
Oh no.
And me being a child at this age of 6 or 7, I looked at the mirror. I'm like, oh, that's a scar. Okay, fine. What should I do with this scar? So I looked at, her table, and it's full of creams and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I saw mom putting creams on face, so I'll let me just put that cream.
Don't
so I put a moisturizer. Yeah, I put a moisturizer on a scar. Can you imagine?
No.
I don't know. Because I was a child, and she didn't care to like maybe just antiseptic, with just betadine, some iodine at least, just to stop that maybe infection. She didn't care. She was like, she looked at it and she's like, oh, you can see like she's like, oh, I did that to her, like, and then very quickly her ego just came and said, well, you deserve that. Yeah, so don't do that again. Hard love. This is Asian parenting 101.
I think this is all
my time in the 80s.
Wow.
Woohoo.
Wow.
But my dad was gentle. My dad was gentle. So yeah, I and since then it just also escalated. Things just went more and more violent. I got more and more beatings from my mother. By the way, I'm saying all this not to put my mother down, for those of you who are watching, because this is what I have gone through. I'm saying this because it has already passed. This is something that it's already in my past. I'm saying this is for you to. It's a sharing of why I have walked this path, the spiritual path, because all this had led me there, right? So this deep anger, right, comes from here. It stems from this. So as I go, as I grow up in my puberty, I became taller and taller, and finally we get to meet eye to eye. So that's where, when she becomes violent at me, I was able to just hold her hand, and just push her away to just push her away and say, don't do that. Like, never do that. Like, just stop there. You're not ever going to do this to me. And that's where she felt like, like, oh, my child, like, she feel threatened even more. And now she's finding ways to just like sort of like find revenge. I don't know, this me and my mom, it must be a hardcore enemy in the past, and we have not settled our debt, and this life we're going to continue this as mother and child. Oh God, it was crazy. And one of the incidents, like I said, you can name any instrument. I felt it. Those days my mom cooks with wok. Those of you who know what is a wok, right? So should we cook with wok? And with wok we don't have a non-stick pan. This is like very, very, I guess only the rich one can afford those days, you know.
Yeah,
But for us, it's wok. And when you have a wok, you have this spatula that's made of iron.
Made of steel, right? It's a stainless
made of steel. Yeah, made of steel.
Yeah.
Yep. I got that hitting, right? And she will burn it, like she will make sure she put it in a hot oil or the fire, and she will do that to me. Okay. And I got belt. These are child. That rotan, it's a child's play. For me, it's a child's play. It's nothing. Those are nothing. It's seasonal stuff. Belt is also seasonal stuff. Hanger that's made of iron. Those are quite something.
Old days now, because nowadays hangers are plastic, but those days it used to be metal, right? It used to be.
Yes. So the one that is made of iron, those are quite something. Yeah, I got that. And I remember there's one incident. I got this, beating as well, but it got a little, you can say, aggressive by my mom, and it had this 3-stroke, exactly here, right? And because it was iron, not iron. I mean the hanger. It was a metal hanger, and she do this, and she used that to beat me, and there was a scar, and that beating was such that, if you get that kind of stroke, that is really fast with the iron, your skin is going to have a bulge. So that bulge I had three of them, and this bulging on top of that dermis, the epidermis. Okay? Yeah. That's you can see that the capillaries is broken, so you can see like blood, but it's not outside. The blood was still inside the skin, still within the epidermis, right? So I got that, and I was like, oh shit, how am I going to go to school tomorrow? Because I am surely gonna be made fun of. So I thought, damn it, it's okay, I'll think of something else. So I went to school, and sure enough, someone looked at me and say, "Oh, you got beating for your mommy, right? You got beating from your mommy." Then like, because they are obviously trying to make fun of you, right? To make you feel bad or whatever. Yeah. This is school bullying. Okay, every child, I think, will go through that. But this is very painful for me to take it, because it was true. I got beaten from my mom, but I don't want to admit it. So I put on this very thick mask, like ego. So my ego also got hurt. My ego got hurt. Someone make fun of me, and my ego got hurt. And so because I tried to protect myself, I say, no, you're wrong. I didn't get beating from my mom. I fell down. And then obviously, they're like, you're a liar. You get beating for your mom. You're lying. You are a liar. And now I'm a liar.
Oh dear.
So it just got worse, you see. And I don't know where to hide myself, because I felt ashamed. And that is where lying becomes a thing for me.
Oh.
I had to lie to protect myself.
It's a defense, You're a kid. Yes. When you're a kid, you don't know anything else. You'll only try to protect yourself. Oh.
So I did that, So this is where lying becomes a defense mechanism.
Right.
So I lie, and that's where and that's where your heart feels heavy, because like, there's no need for you to say that, and you said that because you feel like you have to, because you don't know any other way. You don't know any other way to handle that confrontation, right? So and it was bad, because I didn't have a long sleeve, because they used to have two kinds of uniform. You can have a short sleeve or a long sleeve. I wish at that time I have a long sleeve, because nobody would have known, but I don't have. I have a short sleeve, so fine. I get made fun of then you just put on this very thick mask. You sort of block your emotion.
Yeah.
Really, you block your emotion. You're like, you're what that tao. We say we just pretend there's nothing happened, but actually, oh my god, you're so hurtful inside.
I mean,
but
even
you pretend you're not.
As
you
an
pretend
adult,
that you're not being hurt.
As an adult, we would do stuff like this, and can you imagine a little child? Well, of course, we'll try to.
Yeah. And so I remember the same day, one of the class, the teacher, I think she was having a what do you call that? Like a maternal leave. So a maternal leave. So another teacher is replacing her. So it's like a cikgu gantian, a replacement teacher. So these are the teachers who are they are training themselves. It's just part-time for them. So those teachers, we love them the most.
Yeah, we like them more.
Young. Yeah, they're young cool. And they're cool. Exactly, they're so cool and they're so bubbly and they're like friend with you. You love them so much. So this teacher lady, just suddenly in that class, and she just called my name, like, my Mandarin name, and she called me. So I'm like, oh. She called me, like, okay, she didn't give us any homework. Like, why did she call me? So I went there, and she looked at me. Like, when she looked at me with, like, really sincere. Like, she just looked at me, like, very sincere. And she asked me, did mommy beat you? Then I was like, and then she asked, and you can see, like, she's feeling me. And then she asked, does it hurt? And that's it. I broke down and I cried. And I broke down and I cried. And for the first time, and I remember this was 11. Yeah, it was 11 years old. So I remember at that time, it was the first time that I felt that somebody actually care. Somebody actually care for you. She cared to know. She cared to ask. Even though she didn't, there's nothing she can do to solve my problem here. Nothing. But she cared to ask. Until today, I remember this incident, and I was so grateful because I remember I was crying. I broke down when I went back to my seat. I was still crying, but when I went back home, I told myself, you know what? There's still hope in this world. There's still good people. And I told myself, I'm going to be that person. One day, when I grow up, I'm going to be just like her, caring and compassionate. I don't remember her face now, actually, Millie. I don't remember at all.
But you remember how she made you feel.
I remember how she made me feel. You're right. Exactly. And I'm
think,
so grateful for someone like that.
That was the very first time you felt being loved, being cared for.
Yeah, really cared. And that care was so deep. Just by her, she just asked me these two questions. But she was with me. She didn't humiliate me. She didn't ask me why. She was just caring, Wow. Such an amazing human. Such an amazing human being.
And that little act, that little act of empathy and compassion and kindness, can you see how much impact it has on people? And this is why, it's so important for you to be able to be with people with that kind of empathy, because you never know what the other person is going through. You never know. You never know. And so
I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional now.
Oh.
Oh dear.
You never know how it feels to be on the other side, not getting that. this is why, you should never brush away people's emotions. You should never brush away people's experience, discounting their experiences. And I see people do this a lot, maybe mostly because they don't know, they probably haven't gone through anything that is like what you have gone through. So it's easy for them to sort of like just brush away when people say, oh, you're just emotional, it's nothing. This is why I'm so glad that you told this story, because I feel like a lot of us needed to hear this, that behind every person there is so much that they go through. There is so much, and we can never discount their experience. Never discount people's experience, really. So thank you for
know
sharing.
What? Thank you for listening.
One thing I love about you is that you're able to be so vulnerable, and that in itself is, I feel like we so need that, because we are all trying to be so perfect and trying to put on this very tough sort of image, and we discount this, we discount this vulnerability. But to see you do this, every time I'm with you, I get to see your vulnerability, and it's just beautiful. And every time you do that, it opens something up in me, and every time it leads to healing something within me, and it's always like that. I think if I keep getting on this very tough love advice, I would have like what little Pushpaja did, right? She tried to put on this shell, this protection, and just be sort of like, I'm tough, but inside it was just broken. I would have done that too if no one else showed vulnerability. And I have to thank you for that, because from day one, I see your vulnerability, and it just it opens so much within me. So this is so valuable. Showing your vulnerability, sharing your story. Yeah.
Thank you. I think this is if there is something valuable to share, I feel this is it. This is something that for me it's worth sharing, because other than that, those are just facade. Those are just things that you it's baggage. I don't want to share all that, but I want to share where
it comes from.
Where it comes
how
from,
it's formed.
Yes, and correct. The root of it. Of it. So what I wanted to say was, a lot of people, they dismiss children as just a child. But they have no idea. They have no idea how intelligent a child is. They know and see the world so much more clearer, sometimes way clearer than the adults. But you know what? As a child, because they told us, you're just a child, you don't know anything. And because we are a child, right? We play along.
Yeah.
Let me tell you this. We play along. Okay. I play along. I can only say for myself. I'm not sure about you. But I play along with this innocent image that they gave us. You're just a child. You're just 6, 7 years old. What do you know? No, you don't say this kind of thing in front of the children. They will say, the adults will say like that. And I'm like, hello? Like it is an insult when an adult do that in front of a child and say, don't say this in front, it's like, if you don't want to say it, go somewhere and just stop it. You don't have to say it like that. Okay. Or they dismiss you as a child, and they don't think that you have a feeling, that you don't have that complexity in your emotion. That is so wrong. Children is so much more complex and so much more in touch with their emotion than the adults, because we are true. We are still not contaminated by a lot of things of the world. We don't carry the world yet. we carry the role gradually. Like we learn from the parents, we learn from the household, the kind of rules and regulations in the household. We learn from the teachers in the schools. We learn from the people in the mosque, in the church, in the temples, whatever they tell you. But before that, we're just a child. And we think for ourselves, actually. We think something for ourselves, and we understand things in our own little way. But most of the time they dismiss us. They dismiss the children as innocent, as they're still young, and we play along.
Yeah.
So this is another lie. Again, this is another mask that we develop. So as a child, we also already know how to develop a mask, just to suit them, just to please the adults. We also put a mask. We can't be who we are, because if we say what we are, you might probably just get a slap, like how I get my slap from my mom.
And this child grow up then to dismiss other people, just to repeat that same pattern, because they didn't get it, so they're going to just do that to other person, and this is the cycle. And some of us, we are able to break from that, and I can see you have done that. You become so aware of all these patterns and you work to get out of it. But so many adults just grow up to be just with the same dismissive behavior and discounting other people's feelings and emotions and experience, and just repeating that and believing that I'm tough. I'm. This is how I should be. This is how it should be. It takes a lot of awareness for you to see what's really going on.
So I would say, for those people who is out there, who you yourself are a parent. I don't know if the child is watching this, but the parents are, or you're not yet a parent, but you are. You had. Every one of us was a child, right? Every one of us was a child. So this is a time to really contemplate, to see the impact that we do to the children of tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because whatever I had to go through in my earlier adult years, I had to face all this baggage that I created for myself, and that was a whole lot of confusion. There was a lot of anger. So the anger that you accumulated, when I say I started from there, it just continues to gain momentum. But because you were having such a good time after your 12-year-old, you go to your middle school, high school, and that's where you enjoy your life as teenage. This is friendship time. This is exploration time. This is where your sexual energy becomes develop. And you start to develop attraction to either the same sex or the opposite sex. Whatever, you're discovering your sexuality. So you don't have time to like, oh, poor me, not yet. But until you graduate from your high school, and that's where that transition of 17, 18, 19 years old, and that's where things get a little tricky, because you are sort of going to this verge of adolescence and teenage. Like okay, that transition is a very confusing time. 17, 18, 19 years old. You're neither a girl, not yet a woman.
And if you have all kinds of mixed identities and you're super confused, good luck.
That's where that's where you, if I don't know, some kind of awareness has hit you, or some emotion that you feel like it's very heavy, and you feel like I start to not being able to breathe, and that's the breakdown. This is the time. So I start to have my breakdown somewhere in my 2021. Yeah, I think that's the time. 2021. I started to have emotional breakdown, mental breakdown. At one point, I I couldn't go to I couldn't attend my lectures at all. I was just so much in shame, so much in my own judgment, so much in my own pain. And I keep thinking, and I keep blaming, actually, I keep blaming my mom. I keep blaming my childhood, that they are the one who made me this way. They are the one for the reason, they're the reason for me to become like this. Right. I'm so angry because of them. They're the one who made me feel I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
Because there was a time where I have to choose subjects, and I have to like know what I have to study. And I actually wanted to go medicine. But I remember again, another incident of my mom and dad. They were just another silly quarrel, like very silly stuff. But out of that silliness, they can just bring the children into the topic. And it is so irresponsible for the parents to bring their children into their quarrel in front of us. This is absolutely immature.
Yeah.
Right? So they say like, oh, you know, for example, my mom keep thinking that, you know, my father has affairs outside, you know, and she would say something like, you know, you're gonna spend all your money with that woman, and so, you know, you forgot about your children now. You forget about their education. Who's gonna pay for their education? And my mom, you know, and my father will be like, you don't have to worry about that. I will take care. You know, I will be the responsible one.
Right.
You're not even making a single cent. So, you know, this is like the talk. Like they're just talking each other's down. Because my mom started that, and my dad is like, oh wow, you take this, okay, you don't even know who's the breadwinner. I'm the one who's, you know, bringing the finance, and you talk to me this way, like I'll put you in your place, you know. And then at some point, my mom or my dad says, I don't know who said what, but they say, forget about her education, she can start working. And I was like, what? Like both of you cannot solve your problem, and now you want to take me inside the topic. And I am someone who is very delicate. That time, just even more delicate. I am very delicate in nature. And that time it was even more, you know, fragile. It's so fragile. And I felt like everything broke. And true enough, that got into me. I start to feel, you know what? Okay, let's not pursue medicine, because I want to be either a dentist or a gynecologist. Because I love receiving, you know, I want to be on the labor room to receive child. And I remember I told my mom, Ma, I want to be a gynecologist, and I want to receive child to this world. I say it's such a meaningful thing. And my mom used to tell me, oh, it's a, you know, don't you afraid sometime, you know, if you know, not every birth is successful. I'm like, so this is my mom, you see, nothing.
No positives, all very negative.
Nothing satisfy her. Whatever you say, she has something negative to add, you know. So that's my mom. So, but that doesn't change what I want. Another thing is dentist. I love to see a beautiful teeth. I'm such a OCD. So like you have beautiful teeth. So I want to either be a dentist or a gynecologist. But after I hear this, I told myself, oh, okay, I guess I have to change route. Because it seems like, you know, I don't want to be a burden for them, because they make me sound like I'm a huge burden.
Yeah.
So I told myself, okay, I was there listening to them. I was like, wow, how dare you? How dare you do that? Like, I will never do that to my child. Like, if I had a fight, I would not drag my child into this fight, you know. They were just saying out of anger. But how much of that is true, I don't know, right? But as a child, as a delicate me, the fragile me, I took that upon myself. So I started working. I started to work. And I remember at that time I had an accident. I drove somebody's car and I had an accident. It was a very silly me. I was very silly those days. And I had to pay for that car, that whole damage. It was a huge damage. And it was somewhere about 4 to 5,000 or 4 to 5,000 ringgit at that time. And that was when I was 20 or 21 years old. Can you imagine? No, sorry. I was like 19 years old and I had to start. Yeah, this talk was like around 19. Yeah. And I was in my A level. So I had to find a way to sort of like had extra money, extra pocket money. And one part is to pay off this debt. I had an accident. And another part of that is to clear my debt. And I don't even wanted to tell my parents that I drove somebody's car and I had an accident. I was like so fearful to tell them, so fearful. And so I didn't tell them, and I just went and worked. And they thought, oh, my daughter is working so hard because she's looking after herself. But no, I was working to pay a debt because of my own stupidity. And yeah. And I just try to find ways. How can I be financially successful? And after that, very quickly, I landed into some multi-level companies kind of business at the age of, I think I was 20. And that's where I start to make some money, I think I made my first 5-figure at the age of 20. And I tasted what money is all about. But very quickly it went away. It also went away because I realized even money couldn't make me happy. I was still burdened by this sadness, this anger, this resentment, this guilt, the shame that I had. So I stopped. And I told myself I had to try to figure out things, and I don't know who to go. I really had nobody at that time. I had no friends because I don't live here in the city. I don't have like friends. You don't have like a school childhood friend. No, I don't have that. I moved so many places so many times. So I was just by myself. And at that time, I had a relationship crisis with a boy, right? And things didn't work out. I was really, really crushed. And at that time, I felt so stupid. And I thought about jumping down from 16th floor. I was only 20, 21. I think I was 21 around that time. It's a little blur right now. So I remember looking down and I thought, oh, damn it, 16th floor. Oh, no. And I look at it and I was so angry because I realized I don't even have the courage to jump. And I closed that window. I'm like, damn it, I'm a coward. And you got even more angry at yourself. I got so much more angry at myself because I realized I was chicken shit. Don't even kill yourself, like you're good for nothing. So I remember I was staying in the apartment for 3 months. My dad called almost every day or every other day, and I did not answer my dad's phone call because he received a notification from my university saying that I was skipping class and I flunked my examination. I flunked all of that, right? And there goes his money, right? So that was another guilt that I put on myself. Like, oh God, I spent and I wasted my dad's money, my dad's hard-earned money, and you just don't know how to face him, right? So for 3 months, I just stayed in this state, just waking up just for breakfast and go back to sleep again, and wake up for shower, lunch, and go back to sleep, and for dinner. And that's the only time I wake up. I didn't want to look at my phone, not in the internet, not checking my emails, nothing. I slept for 3 months. Until one day I went to a bookstore. It was like I need to go get some groceries. And I passed by a bookstore. It was an NPH in Summit. So I went past and I saw a book. And this book, the title was Kick Off Your Butt. Kick off your butt. And the butt is not as in your buttock, but as in
B-U-T, butt. All your butts. Okay. Wow.
Kick off your butt.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay. So I took that book and I read it. And that author was named Sean Stevenson, right? I didn't look at him, like I didn't see, somehow for some reason, I didn't flip randomly, and I was someone very OCD. That means when I do something, I have like a certain rules for myself. It's a weird thing. Okay, it's a weird thing. I have a certain rule. So if I read a book, I will not go like that. I will not check halfway. I will read from the beginning till the very end. So I read the very book, and till the very end of it, that was his picture at the end. And I was shocked who he was. He was so beautiful, as in he's actually deformed. He has this what do you call that? A deformity from birth. I don't know what's the medical term anymore, but he basically born with very fragile bones. A little bit of like that, you fractured the bone. So the doctor told his parents, that this boy, it's not going to live. Sorry, I'm going to move my camera for a little bit.
Better, much better. Yeah.
And then his parents didn't give up at all, and he continued to live on until his adulthood. And just a few years back, he passed away. Just a few years ago, like maybe the 3 years back, he passed away, Sean Stevenson. And that book has saved me. That was my first spiritual book. He talked about how we have really sabotaged ourselves, and we don't realize that. And we gave ourselves so many buts. I want to do this, but I'm not good enough. I want to do that, but somebody said this before. So there's like some homework that you do, like in the book. So I just follow it for my, with all my heart I did. And by the time I finished the book, I was someone else. I was someone else. Yeah, I decided, okay, Pushpaja, and with this whole sleeping 3 months, come, let's start life again. And very quickly, it is this time, an A-level friend of mine, he called me and say, hey, we're going for rock climbing. Do you want to join? I'm like, rock climbing? Yeah, sure. Because, suddenly I feel like, yes, yeah, why not? Because it just kickstart the athletic side of me, my whole athletic side of me. I've been putting the athletic side of me into a hibernation mode for so long. So I thought, yeah, sport is good. So yeah, I told him, yeah, let's go. So we went, and both of us are new, completely new. And that's it. When I started climbing, I realized the rock. These are artificial rock, indoors climbing, rock climbing. And they were my next teacher. I remember my first few attempts, like first few times going to that indoor gym. I climb and I fail, and I climb and I fail, and I climb and I fail. And that the goal was to touch that rock on top, right? So I climbed so many times and I couldn't, because, I don't have that kind of strength. Then suddenly at that time, I had a realization. That moment I was just pause and I'm like, oh my God, isn't this life?
Mm.
Isn't this life that you're supposed to climb and come down, climb and fail? But the whole thing was that you did not give up. Because by that time I was already on the top. So when I reached the top, I was like, wait a minute. How come I don't feel ecstatic anymore? Like I don't feel ecstatic anymore. The moment I reached there, I don't feel ecstatic anymore. I felt like, no, that's not it. That was not the goal. I thought that was the goal, to reach up there. But that was not the goal. The goal was the whole journey of you trying, falling down, climb again, fall down, climb again. And that's the whole journey. That is the journey. That is the learning. That is the crux. Getting up there, it's not the goal. So I got it, I'm like, wow. And I remember I was laughing out loud by myself in that gym. I don't know who was there, but I think my laughter was quite crazy. So that's how I started rock climbing. That was my second, you can say, awakening, a second guru that started.
Guru comes in so many forms, huh? So many different forms.
This one comes in a form of a rock, just a rock. Artificial, by the way, it's plastic rock, not a real one yet. Only much later I went to an outdoor rock, but initially I started in the plastic, and not plastic, but artificial gym. But yeah, that's how it all started. Okay, so this is the task, and well, you're going to have to clean it. And I was like, okay, yes, because I'm an OCD. I love to clean. I don't know what goes to their mind. What do they think? Okay, we're going to test her patience. We're gonna test her ego. We're gonna put her ego into test. And I was so delightful when I got that task. I was like, woohoo, show me where's the cleaner and all the tools. I'm gonna make it shiny. And true enough,